What's going on, guys? Today I want to talk about the best type of real estate to buy or learn about during a recession. And I feel like this will be very relevant. With my philosophy, I have a long term buy and hold mentality when I buy real estate. I'm the type to say buy real estate, then wait versus wait to buy real estate. So when I got started in real estate investing back in 2017, I started off with a large group of investors that met on various forums, and we were trying to form like a mastermind group to bounce ideas off each other because, going to real estate investing can be very scary, can be very lonely. And, if you don't have a family who does real estate, or maybe your family doesn't support real estate, then it's really great to surround yourself with a like minded community. So, a lot of those investors, 5 years later, fast forward 5 years later, they still haven't bought their first deal yet. They're still waiting for the housing market to crash. Versus me, I was able to scale from 0 to 90 units just by taking consistent action, right? And buying real estate correctly, as well as really educating myself in regards to different asset classes. So that's the intent of this video, is to teach you about the four other types of what I call recession resistant assets that you should consider learning about and buying during this recession. So the first one, which I own quite a bit of, is apartment complexes. So what's nice about apartment complexes is if you look at the past two large housing market crashes, so the first one is in 2000 and the second one's 2008. If you look at the rents, they actually stayed the same or even went up by like 1% in 2000 and 2008. And every other year, the rent was just going up constantly. So, if you know about apartment complexes, the value is based on the net operating income divided by the market cap rate. So if your rents are stagnant or going up, even during a recession, that means the value of your apartment complex is going to go up. Versus in single family homes, which I own a few as well in California, the value is based on the sales comps. And during a crash, so during 2008 or during 2000, when the housing market crashed, that affected single family homes the hardest versus apartment complexes. As long as you maintained your rents to be the same or slightly increased and maintain your same occupancy, your net operating income was pretty similar, might have went up a bit, and your cap rate was the same. So the value stayed the same or went up. So you have that shelter there. So that's what I really like about apartments is even during the good times, rent goes up. During bad times, the rent is stagnant or goes up a little bit. And also, what's nice about apartment complexes is that's how people downsize, right? Like if you're living or renting in a single family home and you can't afford it anymore and you need to downsize, you're going to downsize from a single family home into an A class apartment complex to a B class apartment complex to a C class apartment complex. So C class is definitely, affordable housing. And most of the apartments that I get off market are C class because they're more than 20 years old. My average apartment complex is 1970s, so they're definitely a C class. And that's where you make your money, right? You do value add, do renovations to make it look like an A class apartment complex, but the pricing may be closer to a B class in terms of the rents. So you know, people always need a place to live. That's never going to change, regardless of a bull market or a recession. So that's why I really, really like apartment complex investing. It's a really great place to kind of lay your foundation. So the second asset that is considered recession resistant, which I own as well, are mobile home parks. So what's really nice about mobile home parks is there's a diminishing supply of mobile homes. A lot of times the mobile home parks, they get demolished and then developers will build brand new high rises, brand new shopping plazas, brand new office buildings because it's higher and better use. And to be honest, mobile home parks have that negative stigma of being a trailer park and attracts a lot of the lower income population. So what I really like about mobile home parks is it's definitely affordable housing, right? Like if you can't afford a C-class apartment complex, the step after that would be a mobile home park. And just for some numbers, in Alabama, where I own my mobile home park, the average home price is $120,000. I'm bringing in a brand new 3 bedroom, 2 bath mobile home that is 900 square foot for $45,000, which is less than half the cost of the median price of a single family home. And if you were to do, a mortgage on that mobile home, it comes out to be roughly around $750 a month. And the average rent in Selma, Alabama for a 2 bedroom, 1 bath apartment complex is $800 a month. So imagine that you're a renter paying $800 a month for a 2 bedroom, 1 bath versus you can own your own mobile home, including the lot rent, including the water and the trash for $700, and it's a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and it's brand new and it looks very nice. Like honestly, I would live in that brand new mobile home myself. So that's why it's affordable housing, right? Because you can basically bring in a new home, convert renters from apartment complexes into homeowners for your mobile home park, and then they're just paying, they're paying the mortgage, they're taking care of the maintenance and all that stuff. They're just going to pay you lot rent, so it makes it a lot more passive for you as an investor just to collect the lot rent. And lot rents kind of average between 300 to 350 a month, and that's kind of what I'm seeing in Alabama, where I own my mobile home park. So the next asset class is that's very popular is self storage. So that's number three. Self storage is considered recession resistant because people just like stuff, right? If you're living in a big single family home and it's so easy to buy things in this modern day, I can click one button on Amazon and get something shipped to my door in one day. Right? I literally just did that today. I literally just clicked one button and it's going to come tomorrow. So people have a fascination with stuff, right? They like holding on to stuff. So they're going to need to store that stuff somewhere. So they put it into self storage. And what's nice about self storage is it's you don't deal with tenants, you don't deal with toilets, you don't deal with trash. Literally, self storage is literally a metal box with four walls, right? Like what can really go wrong with a metal box and four walls? Maybe the roof needs to be repaired, if there's like a storm. Um, and what's really nice about self storage is if a tenant stops paying, then you just remove their access to their self storage. And you have the right as the owner to basically sell off their stuff to recover whatever, rents they owe you. So, and then the next one is a lot of times with self storage, the payment's automated. Like they just pay online, auto pay, and it's very passive, right? Like some of my tenants in my apartments and mobile home parks, we have to knock on their door to get their money order check versus auto pay. It's a lot simpler, a lot passive. And kind of going to the recession, let's just say you owned, your own single family home, you got laid off during the recession and you need to store all your furniture somewhere because you need to downsize to go to an apartment complex, which is more affordable. Like where are you going to store your stuff? When you downsize, you're going to store your stuff into a self storage. So, like I said, it's pretty sticky tenants is what I call it. And it's not much money, right? So the average self storage might be like 20 to 50 bucks a month. And sometimes you forget about it, right? Like it's the same as having a Netflix subscription. Like you pay for it every month, auto pay, and you sometimes forget about it. And you may not even use Netflix, right? It's the same concept with self storage. And what's also nice about self storage too is a component of it is you can do boat and RV storage. You can have it outdoor, so you just lay some gravel, paint some lines, have a little carport, or you can have a fancier indoor garage where you store RVs and boats. And what type of people own an RV? What type of people own a boat? These are typically your wealthier, upper middle class, more affluent, and they're not going to be as affected during um, recession, right? They might have a nice bit, multiple streams of income, a high income W-2, whatever it is. They're pretty sticky tenants and, they want to protect their investment, right? RVs are not cheap. It costs $100,000 to get an RV, which is ironically more expensive than a mobile home. But they want to store that RV somewhere and they're going to keep it for a long time. So that's what's also nice about self-storage and a great asset to consider investing in during a recession. And the last one is industrial warehouses. So I do not own an industrial warehouse yet. Maybe later down the road, once my current 90 units are stabilized, my two apartment complex in a mobile home park. And what's nice about industrial is it's triple net. So for those of you who don't know, it means net, net, net. So the tenant covers everything. They cover the property tax, the maintenance, the utilities, the insurance, everything. They just pay you every month and they cover the rest of the expenses. It's the most passive form of real estate. The returns are not as great compared to apartments, mobile home parks, and self storage, but it's easier and it's great in terms of like for tax purposes, right? Let's just say you're making a lot of money from your business and you need a nice tax write off. Industrial warehouse is definitely the way to go. And what's really trending is industrial warehouses for like large distributors, like for Walmart or Amazon, right? As I mentioned, buying things online is very trendy now, right? Amazon wants to get you that product within 1 to 2 days. And as a result, they need to have multiple warehouses throughout the entire US. So if you're able to buy industrial warehouse where you have a large tenant like FedEx, Amazon, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, any of these big players, and they have like a 20, 30-year lease, it's literally mailbox money. It's literally mailbox money. But when you're buying, industrial warehouses, you're buying the leases, not necessarily the property, right? So you want to look at your tenant, who do you have, and how long they're going to stay. And what's nice about these leases too is they have automatic rent escalation clauses. So let's just say every 2 years, the rents will go up by 3%. Like how easy is that, right? So kind of my progression that I recommend most investors follow, and the progression that I'm personally following is, obviously I started off in single family homes. Now I'm investing a lot in apartment complexes, and then after apartment complexes, people usually kind of migrate over to mobile home parks, which I have as well. And then once you kind of master mobile home parks, you can branch into self storage and industrial. And it's just depending on what you like. With self storage, it's still a little bit more of a business, so maybe a little more hands on. But in terms of industrial, that's like the most passive, the lowest returns, and that's where I eventually want to end up. Like I said, you cannot beat peace of mind, and it's a lot easier, right? Like with apartments in my mobile park, it's heavy value add, a lot of time, a lot of sweat, blood and tears, sleepless nights. But imagine if you had an industrial tenant that was Amazon, that was on a 30-year lease, that just literally covered everything because it's triple net, as well as the rent clause increases are already built in. So overall, I hope you found this helpful. And like I said, during a recession, this is when the most millionaires are made. So it is very key to get self-educated and learn about these different asset classes, right? If you want to learn about apartment complexes, I do offer a Making Multifamily course. It's now live. You can check the link in the description down below. Um, have a handful of students currently and been getting a lot of great feedback. They really like the way that I teach. It's more action focused and action based, and it literally gives you all the necessary documents, the calculators, and kind of my mindset and how I buy, analyze, complete the value add, and ultimately do a cash out refi. So that's the ultimate goal, is to pull up your down payment, your renovation cost, and then buy another apartment complex, right? And then once you buy a couple apartment complexes, at that point you can trade up and go to mobile home parks, self storage, or industrial. But overall, hope you found this video helpful and hope to see you on the next one. Thank you.